Welcome to the channel, Alluring Fishing. Thanks for having a look at this video. What I'd like to talk about today are some of the lures that I use for various types of fishing, and predominantly what I'm doing is fishing in the lake and fishing off the beach. So I'm going to start out with surface lures, and for some people that are more experienced this will probably be common knowledge, but for those of you who want to get into surface fishing, and that might be for whiting, tailor, depending on what you're after. So the first thing that I want to show you are the sugar pens, and probably the best color that most people would agree. That's dynamite on whiting. I've fitted it with some assist hooks. Another good color. I can put these colors, after the video I'll update, and when we do the editing I'll stick in the names. Bass Day sugar pen, another Bass Day sugar pen. All of these colors have caught multiple whiting, lots of tailor, but a really good color for whiting as well, which might not be as commonly known. This is a Daiwa, and it's called a slippery dog. So have a look there. Super Wolf slippery dog, 65. Awesome lure, both in that color. This color obviously represents some kind of prawn or something like that in the lake, and I'm pretty sure this one represents some kind of a yabby, or depending on where you are in which state, it might be called a yabby or a cracker or something like that. So using an outfit that has something like 8 pound leader. Let's grab this outfit here quickly. So there's an 8 pound leader. I'm using an FG knot. Let's find the knot. So if you want to know how to actually tie this knot, you can go online. I'm sure there's plenty of videos that will show you how to tie an FG knot, but I find that that's pretty much the most efficient knot. It slides through the guides really well. Not easy to tie, but really strong, and easy to cast, and really reliable. I've not had one of these actually come loose on me, so I think that that's really something that you need to learn to tie if you're going to start doing serious stuff. The reel that I'm using here is a 2500 Sol 2 2508. Honestly not a huge Daiwa fan. I've had a couple of problems with these bearings seizing up on relatively new reels. Really nice reel to use, but I wouldn't say that it's something that I would buy again over a Shimano. I mean, everybody's got their own points of view, but I've had Shimano Stradics and Stradic CR4s that have lasted for ages, that have never had anything seize, so that's kind of what I'm comparing it to. The rod that I'm using, Fluger Trion, I believe it's a 2 to 4 kilo, 7 foot 2 piece. Really nice action, real tippy end, really good action on this rod. So yeah, that's my setup for any kind of surface fishing on light baits. So that would be whiting. I mean, that rod will pick up a tailor easily, half a kilo tailor, good fight. That specific lure has caught many tailor. So that's the setup for top water. Next one I'll move on to some of the diving lures. Okay, so these are the diving lures that I use, and they're all Daiwas, except for, I think there's one here that's not a Daiwa, it's an Atomic. But let's start with my favorite up at the top. That is absolute dynamite on whiting. Represents a small prawn, shallow diver, silent, casts like a bullet. Absolutely beautiful lure, kills the whiting. The green prawn color, just as good. Maybe a little bit slightly not as good, but almost as good as the brown prawn. And you can go on the Daiwa website and see what these colors are. I can also put the numbers on, you know, when I edit the video. But all of these prawn patterns, this is a Presso Minnow, and these patterns are absolute dynamite if you're trying to target whiting. And why I went to these, just to give some background, is I've really struggled to master catching whiting on the surface on the sugar pens, but I've been much more successful getting them on the shallow divers. That is almost as good as the Daiwa, slightly heavier, got a bit of a rattle, so if you find you want something that make a bit of noise, this will catch flathead as well. So you know, if you're looking for something that's slightly less silent and less finesse, that'll be very, very good compared, you know, almost as good as the Daiwa. This one is I think it's a Daiwa Presso crank, or it's a Daiwa spike. That's what it is. There we go. I don't even know my own lures. Got too many. This is called a Presso or a Pro spike. Also in the prawn color. This thing is absolute dynamite on flathead. Haven't caught any whiting on it, but flathead just absolutely love this thing. So I mean, with this box, I can happily go out in a kayak, and within, you know, an afternoon's fishing, that will have caught me a couple of flathead, and the others would have caught me a couple of whiting. So, you know, I started out doing bait, but I've progressed onto lures, and I think it's not for everybody, but if it's something that you're tired of the smelly stinkiness of the bait, and you're tired of having to bait up all the time, and you know, you get little pickers on your line and have to, you know, buy the bait and it goes off and it's got a limited lifespan, you get into lure fishing. I think it's far more rewarding. The type of fish that you catch, generally better as well, and no smelly bait. So that's basically the whiting lures and the shallow divers and one deep diver. Next I'll get onto the Daiwa double clutches. Okay, here we go. These are the 60mm Daiwa double clutches, and I'll just go through them one at a time. There's lots of colors in these, but I'm obviously picking out the favorites. This is a laser AU color, which you'll find everybody really raves about, and rightly so. This is a brilliant lure. Will catch you bream, will catch you whiting, will catch you flathead. So probably if you're going to buy, I mean, these are quite expensive, they're $20 each, so if you're going to buy anything, that would be one color to definitely get. This is the Ghost Wagasaki color, which absolutely deadly. I don't know, I think this represents a mullet or something like that. Again, will catch you bream, flathead and whiting. Then the laser Wagasaki color will also catch you all of the above, bream, flathead, whiting. All of these work. They work extremely well. They're incredibly effective lures. They don't cast that far, but what they do have is I mean, why they're called the double clutch, probably can't see this in the video, but there's a little tungsten weight that goes back and forth. It's coming up quite nicely there. So that's what gives it the casting ability. So it actually casts very far for its size and its weight, but not a huge casting distance. But then you don't really need to. If you're in a kayak, you can pretty much find a good drop off on a good tide, and you don't need to cast far. So that's not really an issue. Land-based maybe, but not of a kayak. This one's called a Rusty AU, and you can pretty much see battle scars on that. Caught a fair bit of fish. This is called Plenty of Flathead. Tiny little lure, but works a bomb. So those are the 60mm double clutches, and these are the 75mm. And there's your laser AU again. I mean, just look at that. This thing has been absolutely smashed by I don't know how many fish. They love it. It's probably one of the best colors out there if you're wanting to catch flathead on lures and you know, on the sand flats. Absolutely brilliant color. You will have seen other videos out there on YouTube. A lot of people will talk about this. There's no secret, this is an amazing lure. If you buy 5 of these, you keep them, you know, use them even when the colors go off, they still work. So that's excellent color. There's a ghost AU, very similar, not as successful on this one, but still catches fish. Black and gold, on sunset, low light conditions, works a treat. Catch you flathead. The perch color, catch you anything. So it'll catch you tailor, it'll catch you bream, caught whiting on this, flathead, everything. So yeah, probably one of the more effective. This should actually move up, should actually re-rank these. Put that one up there, that one down there, order of preference. Suji prawn color, brilliant for, strangely enough, for tailor. I've caught millions of tailor on these things at you know, on sunset, on dusk. Really effective. And then a color that's actually quite hard to get in the 75mm is that Wagasaki color, ghost Wagasaki. It's quite common in the 60, but in 75mm not so common. Very good color as well. So those are 75mm double clutches, all of them pretty excellent for any of the sand flats type fishing. Okay, next up, 95mm Daiwa double clutch, pretty similar colors to what I just showed you in the 75mm. These are basically further casting distance, so if you're trying to obviously cast a fish which you don't want to spook them, this will give you the edge. You're not going to catch bream on these, although you might. This particular one has caught tons of tailor. The tailor just seem to love this color. Must be something in it. I can check the other colors out, you know, at the same time of day and get nothing, and then put on one of these and have a tailor on in no time at all. Again, that's the ghost Wagasaki color, rusty AU, and black and gold. And you'll notice also the way that I've put the elastic bands on. That really makes a difference if you're trying to get a lure quickly out of a box. You don't want your lures all tangling into each other and you end up with a mess. You don't have time for that when the fish are on, so good idea to just tie them up with elastic bands. Okay, now I'm going to show you two, probably the most effective flathead lures that you can get. This is a Bass Day Sugar Deep, and I can't explain how good these things are. You have to try them. This is 70mm and then 90mm. These things will raise a flathead when nothing else will. They are just incredible. I don't know any other lure that's as effective as these. Out of all the double clutches, I mean, they're all good, but these things, when nothing else is working, if there's a fish there, it's going to go for this. And this is especially flathead. I think I've probably only caught flathead on these, but really effective. The other Bass Day Sugar Deeps are good, but you know, not outstanding in my opinion. I mean, they're good lures. They're really good quality. They come with excellent hooks. You don't have to change the hooks on these. They're super sharp no matter how. I mean, these are even a little bit corroded, but they're still super sharp. Absolutely good quality. There's a thing on the Daiwas, you've got to change the hooks. They're terrible hooks, super sharp, but one or two fish and there's nothing left. You've got to put something else on. So that's something to keep in mind when you buy the double clutches. You're going to have to spend extra money on the hooks. So maybe think about that, get a few Bass Days. Okay, finally for this video, I'm just going to talk about the bigger sugar pens. Once again, now that I'm not using my own advice of elastic bands, but quite hard to get elastic bands working with these trailing hooks. So let's just grab one of these out. So the colors again, this is an amazing color. I mean, it really raises fish that you just wouldn't catch otherwise. Obviously emulates a prawn. I've actually lost fish on these lures that were too big for me to land on the equipment that I had. I've got impatient with them and snapped them off by accident. This is an amazing lure. This will even catch your whiting as well. All the colors are good, but that color, I think this is a HF119. That's really brilliant. The other good colors, I think this is a 163, 164, something like that. The prawn color as well, pretty good. And this is actually a UV color, so that actually isn't apparent now in this light. But if you put a UV light on it, you'll see it's got UV in it, and that definitely helps. So the other one I want to show you is the Yozuri crystal minnow. This is an amazing lure. It's not a surface lure, it's just a shallow diver. It also comes with excellent quality hooks. These hooks have been on here for ages. They've corroded slightly, but they're still super sharp. I think they've got tin in them, something like that actually prevents them from rusting. And that is actually a lure that has caught so many tailor that I've probably lost count. You know, it's an incredibly good lure. You get it in a bigger size as well. These are virtually impossible to get now, so I mean, if you can find them, grab them. It's called a crystal minnow 3D prism in I think it's called a green mackerel color. If you can get one of those and you're into tailor, grab as many as you can, because I've not seen these in the shops for years now. You get the bigger one as well. You used to be able to buy them off Amazon, but even Amazon doesn't have them anymore. So excellent lure for tailor if that's something that interests you. Although obviously in the lake this is not going to work off the beach. It just doesn't have the casting distance, so in the lake only. So that's a wrap up of some of the stuff that I use. If you've got any questions, you know, put some comments on the video if you like what you see. If you want to see other stuff, I've got other lures to show, like metals that I use off the beach. I'll do another video of that. Yeah, if you guys like my videos, then tell me. You know, if you want to see more, let me know what you want to see. I think I'm reasonably knowledgeable about this stuff, hence the video. So give me some feedback. Thanks.